Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Maximize Your Monday. It is your vision coach, Latoya Early. I am also the founder of Chase Gray University. We are a niche coaching certification company for Christian coaches. Listen, I hope that you are prepared for today's masterclass. I hope you're ready for today's masterclass. We're going to talk about something real, okay? Because I'm seeing it. And listen, I was a victim of it. So I want to talk about it with you on today. We're going to talk about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. How many of you are familiar with the I'll do it when mindset? I'm going to talk about what that means. We're going to give you some examples. But in the meantime, in between time, come on in. Let us know that you are here. If you are inside of the Christian Women Called to Coach Facebook community, do me a favor and tag another coach. If you're joining me live on any social media platform, tag someone who can benefit from today's masterclass. We're going to talk about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. Now, I know many of you have experienced this mindset before, right? I was victim of it for a very long time. When I talk about the I'll do it when mindset, I'm talking about the mindset of I won't start, I won't grow, I won't do what God has called me to do until I do this, right? How many of us are putting conditions on when we're going to step up and complete the assignment? Right? We put conditions on when we're going to step up and do the assignment. You say, I'll start my business when my kids go to college, right? Because then it'll be about me. Or I'll grow my coaching business when I get myself together? Because how can I coach and I'm still broken? How many of us think like that? How many times have you talked yourself out of making the decision to do what's next because you have the I'll do it when mindset? And so we're going to talk about that mindset, and we're going to talk about how this type of mindset is stopping you from living the happy and fulfilled life you've been searching for. Not only does this mindset hinder you from your next level, but this mindset is actually dangerous. It's contagious. It's something that can be spread amongst family members and people that you're connected to, and it can cause them to become stuck in their journey as well. Right. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that mindset of I'll do it when, and how can you overcome that? How can I overcome this mindset? I want to know in the comments. Let me know if this is something that you struggle with. How many times have you put something off? How many times have you said, I'll do this when X, Y, and Z happens? Something has to happen, or there has to be some sort of conditional something conditional has to be in place before you move forward. Let me know, because here's what's happening. For those of you who are saying, I'm going to start my business when, I'm going to grow my coaching business when, whatever your win is, put it in the comment. If you're saying, I'm going to start my coaching business, but I'm going to do it when I get out of debt, right? Or I'm going to grow my coaching business. I'm going to do it I um when I get a better position in my job. How about this? I'm going to raise my prices. I'm going to do it when I get so many coaches to, or so many clients to sign up under my current price point, right? I want to talk about the mindset of I'll do it when. So do me a favor and tag someone in this masterclass who you believe can benefit from today's training. Again, for those of you, if this is your first time joining me, hello. I am Latoya Early. I am your vision coach. I am also the founder of Chase Great University. We are a niche coaching certification company for Christian coaches. I am the coach who is assigned to help you see the gaps in the vision that God has given you. Um let's not only launch what God has given you, the vision that He's given you, but let's learn how to monetize it. Let's learn how to market it. And let's learn how to become the exact thing that God has called and created you to become. Over the past several weeks, we've been talking about your call. What is your purpose? What's your purpose here on earth? When God created you, why did He do that? What was the purpose behind your creation? I'm going to be hosting a purpose party in December for those of you who are ready to answer that question. So make sure you reach out to me for details regarding the purpose party. But we're talking about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. Let's talk about where that comes from. We're going to be real. We're going to go ahead and we're going to rip the band-aid off, and we're going to talk about how that stems from, y'all ready? And I'm sure y'all know it already, how this stems from procrastination, right? We know that this mindset of I'll do it when is rooted in procrastination. It's rooted in fear. Most times we put off the things that we need to do for our businesses, for ourselves, for our lives, for our families. We put these things off because we're afraid of either one, the work that is required, right? Because let's be honest, there is work that is required behind your yes. So the moment you say, yes, I'm ready to start, grow, and monetize my coaching business, the moment you say, yes, I'm ready to start my business, the business that God has given me, I'm ready to write the book, I'm ready to pull out of my 9 to 5 and pursue business full time. The moment that you say yes to these things, then there's a level of responsibility that comes behind that yes. And some of us are struggling because we're not ready to do what? Fulfill the responsibility behind the yes, right? So we're talking about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset, and how this type of thinking is what's keeping you stuck and it's what's keeping you unhappy. Now you'll see me looking around because I got notes on both sides of my computer, but I want to talk about this today because uh I hear a lot of people say, I want to start my business. I want to grow my coaching business. I want to do what I'm supposed to do, but I can't do it until this happens. Right? So we put some sort of condition behind the start date. And we say, when my kids grow up and they go off to college, then it'll be about me, right? And then I'll be ready. When I save up X amount of dollars in my savings account, then I'll be ready. When I lose a certain amount of weight, then I'll be ready. When I pay my house off, then I'll be ready, right? We keep putting these conditions behind the start date, thinking that it's okay. This is going to justify my procrastination, right? This is going to justify my fear. Now, I'm really afraid of starting because I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know how this is going to look. I don't know if I'm going to fail at it. And so, if I continue to say that it's on my to do list, it's on my vision board, and I'm going to do it when, then my reason behind me waiting, if I make that reason big enough, then people won't look at me as if I'm procrastinating, or it's justifying my procrastination. It's justifying my fear, right? I want to know in the comments. Y'all let me know if this is something that you yourself struggle with. The mindset of I'll do it when. Now let's talk about 5 ways. How do I overcome this type of thinking, Latoya? If you're saying that this mindset is what's keeping me from growing in life, right? It's keeping me from growing in my business. It's keeping me from growing in my career. How do I overcome this mindset? Number 1, the very first thing you want to do to overcome this I'll do it when mindset is stop. You have to change your standard. Now, I know that we've been taught that, for ourselves and for our partners, our spouses, we're supposed to have a certain level of expectation. We're supposed to have these standards in place. But what we tend to do is we place a standard over our lives that is so high that when it's time for us to make the decision to move in the direction that God wants us to move in, then we become stuck, right? Why do we do this? I believe it's because of social media. I believe that social media is what has caused many of us to live in this I'll do it when mindset, because we have so many amazing influencers who are showing up on social media with this polished life and this polished look and this polished business, and it's causing you to doubt or become discouraged of what you're capable of. So what we do is we create these standards and we say, well, my graphics has to look like this, my visuals have to look like this. I can't do this until this happens. And so now what we're doing is we're pushing ourselves further back on the timeline, and again we're justifying it because we have a good reason instead of just doing it. So, how do I overcome this? I need to change my expectations for myself. I need to adjust my standard. I'm not saying lower the standard, I'm saying adjust the standard. Why? Because we want to make sure that we're showing up polished and we look good and we feel good. But sometimes showing up where you are is how your client needs to see you, right? I told you guys last week that I'm on this hair journey. For those of you who haven't noticed, my entire family have locked their hair. Right, my husband, he locked his hair. My children. First, it was just my oldest two, and then my baby came home one day, and his hair was locked. My sisters, both of their hair is locked. My mother, her hair is locked. And I had originally, it's so funny. I think maybe back in like 2018, I had said that I wanted to lock my hair, but I chickened out, y'all. They told me they was gonna cut my hair, and I was like, I don't want to do it. So I chickened out. But I'm ready this time. And so I'm on this hair journey, right? And so this is new to me because I have been wearing silk press since they were called wraps. Y'all remember that, girls? When we used to call our hair, when we used to go get our hair done, we used to say we want to get a wrap. They don't call it that anymore. It's a silk press now. But I've been wearing my hair straight my entire life, right? And so now to embrace the journey of my hair changing texture and watching my curl pattern and not applying heat to my hair, this has been a journey for me. And so I could have done one of two things. I could have said, you know what, I'm not going live until I get my hair the way that I want to. But if I continue to stay in the mindset of I'll do it when, how much further will I push myself back on the timeline? Right? How much further are you pushing yourself back on the timeline? We're talking about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. The first thing we talked about is adjusting the standard. You create the standard. Your standards shouldn't be measured against someone else's journey and what they're doing and what they look like. Right? I tell the coaches all the time over at Chase Gray University, I say, listen, if you're still working through your process, it's okay. If you're at a 4, let's coach the clients that are at a 0 to 3, right? Some of you are saying, I'll do it when, and you're pushing yourself further and further down the timeline. Ask yourself this: what if you had said yes at the time that God first presented it to you? How much further would you be? I don't know where I would be if I was just starting Chase Great now. For those of you who don't know, Chase Gray University is 10 years old. We will be 11, oh my gosh, in March of next year, 2023. And we started this business. And originally, when we first started Chase Great, we started Chase Great doing a lot of paperwork shuffling. I did business plans, 501c3s, trademarks, LLCs, anything that had to do with helping you build the foundation of your business. Then God evolved me into coaching, right? He then evolved my assignment into the coaching space. But imagine if I said, I'll become a coach when X, Y, and Z. I'll become a coach when my children are a little older. I'll become a coach when I finish all of these certifications and all of these programs and all of these trainings. I'll become a coach when I make a certain amount of money in my business. How far behind would I be? Would I be in the position for the clients who are looking for Chase Great in this season, right? Because this season, I don't know if you know, but this season is one of the most important seasons for us as believers. Why? Because if you're watching the climate of our nation, it's changing. It's changing drastically. And if no one needs a coach any other time, this is the season that coaches are needed. So the more you push your timeline, the more people are going to go without the solution you have to their problem. Right? We're talking about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. This mindset is rooted where? In procrastination and in fear. Every time you tell yourself or you stop yourself from going to your next level, you stop yourself from going after and growing and doing what God has called you to do in your business. Every time you say, I'll do it when, you're pushing back your timeline. But guess what? You're not just affecting you, you're also affecting the clients who are assigned to you. right? Think about the people that you're supposed to serve in your business as a coach, but you haven't shown up as the expert in solving a particular problem because what? You'll do it when. So we talked about number one, we talked about um adjusting your standard, right? Number two, the second way to overcome the I'll do it when mindset is to put on your blinders. Stop comparing yourself to the right and to the left of you and stay focused. Stay focused. My journey is not going to look like your journey. This is one of the things that we talk about at Chase Gray University all the time. And this is why I'm not a huge fan of plug and plays and templates. Over at Chase Gray, we do a lot of hands on. Listen, I'm not going to hold you up. If you're a coach and you're looking to start growing, monetize your coaching business, and you decide that Chase Great is where you want to launch your coaching business, you're going to have some work to do. Because here at Chase Great, we believe in not only helping you answer the call to coaching, but we believe in helping mold you in your own voice, right? And so that's not to say that plug and plays and templates are good, because they are useful, but that's one of the reasons why we don't use them, because I don't want you to sound like Latoya. I don't want you to sound like Coach Jazz. I don't want you to sound like Coach Sandra. Chase Great wants you to sound like who God called you to become. And if you're going to overcome the I'll do it when mindset, you're going to have to stop comparing yourself. Stop looking at what other business owners are doing and saying, man, it looks like, because it's an assumption. One of my good friends, she said all the time, she said, listen, you know my glory. You see my glory, but you don't know my story. And what it looks like for someone to the right of you or someone to the left of you is not going to look like how it's going to happen for you. No matter how identical it may look, your journey is going to be different. And if you're going to overcome the I'll do it when mindset, you have to put your blinders on and stop focusing on what other people are doing. Right? Because again, the I'll do it when mindset is keeping you stuck. And it's causing you to live in a space of mediocrity, and you're not even noticing it because you're so busy trying to catch up or keep up with what you see to the right and or what you see to the left instead of what you see ahead. The Bible says, for we press toward the mark. What does that mean? That means that my eyes have to stay focused on the prize in front of me. Well, you need to identify what that prize look like. If serving people, I was talking to my sisters yesterday. My sister is here from Texas, and so we had dinner last night. And so we were talking, myself, my husband, my sister, her husband, my baby sister, her husband. We're sitting at the table having dinner. And we were talking and just talking about things. I'm so proud of my sister. I'm not going to share her announcement, but we were celebrating her, and I was just so proud of her, and I'm just so happy at the decision that she just made. But I was saying how, coaching for me, I love to coach because it allows me to help individuals shift their perspective, right? It allows me to come into your life, whether or not I'm helping you with your business, I'm helping you with your coaching, or maybe we're just good friends and I'm just helping because that's just what I like to do. And we were talking about how individually, as a person, if you're going to, I was saying how I think I'm not going to say what I'm not going to say what I said because I don't want to put that out there just yet, but there's a particular area of coaching that I'm considering that I think I want to take a deeper dive into. And so we were talking about, how individuals, if we're going to make something work, we first have to do what? Analyze ourselves. And what we tend to do is we see what other people are doing and where other people are going, and we expect for our journey or our process to look like them, instead of sitting down and saying, okay, Lord, how is this supposed to look for me? Right? What am I supposed to be doing? How do I need to make myself a better version of who you've called me to become so that I can serve your people at the level that you want me to serve. Because here's the thing, while we're growing multiple six-figure coaching businesses, because we know over in Deuteronomy, it talks about how God has given us the power to gain wealth. Well, the power is in your purpose, right? The power is in the assignment that God is giving you to apply here on earth. While we are working through those things and we're building those things and we're growing our businesses, you still have to work on self. So if we're going to overcome the I'll do it when mindset, we have to stop comparing ourselves to other people and focus on who you are and what you need to do personally, because what it looks like for you is not going to be what it looks like for the next person. The coaches in the community, I love it so much because we're so related to one another in some form or some fashion. But what makes it so grand is that it doesn't look the same. So if you're struggling with the I'll do it when mindset, it's because you're expecting your outcome or your result to look like something that you've seen, and it may never look that way. Right? Let me know if this is making sense to you guys. I want to hear from you. For those of you who are I want to hear from you guys who are catching this live, or if you're catching this on replay. Let me know if this is making sense to you, right? We talk about, what's keeping me from growing in my coaching business? What's keeping me from hitting the multiple six-figure mark or the six-figure mark or whatever your financial revenue goal is in your business? What's keeping me from hitting the milestones? I want you to ask yourself, what are you putting at the bottom of the list? What are you telling yourself? I'll do this when this happens. And then how do we overcome this? Number one, we talked about adjusting your standard, because sometimes we jump into this idea of perfection, right? And we think that it's supposed to look a certain way. And so because we're chasing this idea of perfection, we have this standard that is so high that even it's hard for us who created the standard to reach it. You got to adjust the standard. You have to learn how to pivot, because it's not going to look like, and this is what I love about God. Man, he just, how you ask God for something and then it shows up totally different. You like, Lord, I don't want you to, Lord, I ask that you send me on a trip. I just want the money for you to send me on a trip, right? I want to go. What's the destination you want to go to? I want to go to the Caribbeans, right? And then God will do something. You'll say, Lord, send me the money. So in your mind, you're waiting for a check in the mail. You're waiting for a new client. You're waiting for an increase in your finances. But he didn't send you the money. He sent you somebody from the Caribbeans that said, come on over, I'll pay for everything. You like, no, but this isn't how God said this is not how I expected to have it. And sometimes we have to be willing to pivot so that we can receive however God wants to give it to us. I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself too, y'all. Right? Number two, we talked about how it is time for you to put on your blinders and stop comparing yourself, right? Stop comparing yourself to what you see in other people, because the comparison is what's keeping you stuck. The comparison is what's keeping your expectations so high. Right? We're on number three. We're talking about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. Number 3 is don't put a date outside of 30 days on your next to do. Now, I know that we create long and short term goals, right? I want you to have long term goals. I want you to have your 5, 10, 15, 20-year plan. Please do. But what do you need to do in the next 30 days? Not so that I can do this first before I go after the business. No, what do you need to do in your business in the next 30 days so that you can be taken to the next level? Now you need to stop saying, I'll start my business when my kids go back to school, and say, I'm going to start my business in the next 30 days. You need to shorten your timeline, right? Because you're putting these dates on your goals and on your dreams, and they keep getting pushed further and further. Why? Because life be lifing. Okay, life happens. Life happens. And if you continue to allow your current situations to determine what your future is going to look like, you're going to stay stuck where you are. You are. If you keep allowing what it looks like before you in this moment to determine your future, you're going to stay stuck. We're talking about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. How do you gain the courage and the tenacity to do it now? Stop pushing everything back on your timeline. Listen, forget you. I'm talking about the people that you're called to serve. I'm talking about the clients who are waiting for the solution you have to their problem. Is it fair that you won't serve them because you're uncomfortable? Is it fair to keep them stuck because you want to make sure that your ducks are in a row? We put these expectations on ourselves, and we are striving for something that we put the standard on. You created that rule. You said that you couldn't go out and grow your coaching business until this happens. And then it's not, and then whatever that thing is taking longer and longer to happen. Why? Because the enemy doesn't want you to fulfill the call of coaching that God has called you to, because he knows that if you say yes, then everybody that you're connected to, they're going to say yes too. And now the enemy is losing people. But that's our assignment, right? That's our assignment. We're talking about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. I sent out an email and I went over some of the I'll do it when examples. And I want you guys to put it in the comments if you have an I'll do it when example. One of it is, I'll do it when my baby finishes school. I have too much on my plate. How many of you have said that? I'll do it when I buy my first home. I'll do it when I coach a few more people. I'll do it when things slow down. I'll do it when I can truly be focused. I went to an expo this past weekend, and the young lady and we were talking, and I was saying, I have not had the time to go get my mani and pedi, right? We were just talking. I was like, I used to be on top of my manicures and pedicures, and I just haven't had the time. And she said, no, it's not that you don't have the time, it's that you don't make the time. And I think that we get so wrapped up in life's responsibilities that we forget that we control them. We forget that we control our time. Like, you control your time. I don't care if you work a 9 to 5. I don't care if you work a 9 to 9. Whatever your work schedule is, whatever your life consists of, you have complete and total control of what your day looks like. And if we're going to overcome the I'll do it when mindset, then we have to take back control of over our time, which brings me to number 4. Take control over your time. Take control over your time. What do you need to adjust in your life so that you can do and become? If you're working a 9 to 5 and you have a family, where in this 24 hours of a day can you establish time for your business? I didn't know that being a wife and being a mother to three awesome guys. As a matter of fact, we got a field trip tomorrow. I totally forgot about the field trip, but we have a field trip tomorrow that I'm going to with my youngest baby, and I'm excited about it because I haven't been able to go on a field trip with them in a long time. But make time. So now, what I would normally do on a Tuesday, guess what? I got to figure out how to put it somewhere else. Why? Because I control my time, not because I work from home full time, not because that has nothing to do with it. It's because I understand the value behind putting priority on the things that is going to push me forward. And so for you, for all of you, for anyone who is struggling with the I'll do it when mindset, it is time for you to take control of your time. If you don't take control of your time, there's a good one. She said, I'll do it when I figure it all out. Ooh, baby. Thank you. Whoever shared that, let me tell y'all how we all do this, right? I'll do it when I figure it out. But what if I told you that it was never designed for you to figure it out on your own? And the very thing that you're saying that I'll do when may be the exact answer to you figuring it out. Because we do that, right? I'll do it when I pay off this credit card. I'll do it when I enroll my first clients. Even for me, let me talk about Latoya, because I'm not gonna get mad at myself. I'm not gonna my dad used to say, I'm not gonna get mad and put me out to church, right? When before I invested, before I invested my first four-figure investment into my business, I was the queen of I'll do it when. I was stuck in that mindset, right? And I didn't know that this mindset is what was keeping me held bondage. I didn't know that it was keeping me stuck, right? And so I would say, well, I'll hire a coach when I sell my program, when I make this amount of money, when I get my first three sales in my program, right? I'll do it when. But let me tell y'all what happened. I made my three, right? I did. I made my three. The problem is the coach job that I needed from my coach at that time, I wasn't positioning myself properly. So when I went and got those three people, because my price point was all jacked up, I still didn't have enough to invest. Right? I still didn't have enough. And because my mindset wasn't right, it's not like I knew to increase my price point, or I was comfortable in it, or I was confident in it, because your girl was struggling. I tell y'all all the time about my 8-week coaching program for $125, right? So what I'm saying is we say, I'll do it when I figure it out. But what if what needs to be done in that moment is what unlocks you figuring it out? If I didn't hire my first four-figure coach back in a few years ago, I don't remember what year it was, but if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't be confident in my investment for Chase Gray University. I wouldn't be confident in that. I wouldn't be confident in what I'm able to deliver as a coach. So imagine me saying I'll do it when, and me not being in the position that we're in so that we can serve you. Because now the clients who need Chase Great, they're looking for Chase Great. And if Chase Great had of stayed in that mindset that I'll do it when, then we wouldn't be in the position for the people who need us now for us to serve them. And then how much more stuck would they be? Does this make sense? Let me know in the comments if this is making sense to you. One of my favorite excuses, and they are excuses, people, they're excuses. When you say, I'll do this when, it's an excuse. Again, keep in mind, we talked about how that mindset is rooted in procrastination. Procrastination is rooted in fear. And so when you think about that, and I'm looking at notes, when you think about that and you say, I'll do it when I get better, how can I help anybody? I'm still broken. We all are. We're not healed in every component of our lives. I don't think complete, and I don't think, and I'm gonna tread this statement lightly, but I don't think that there's complete and total wholeness until we reach the kingdom, until we reach until we reach heaven. That's what I think. I think that because trial and tribulation is going to always show up at our front door, there's always going to be an area where you're going to need some healing. You're going to need some support. You're going to need, listen, I got coaching, but this parenting thing with these handsome little boys going off to middle school and these girls, I don't have that area. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But because I'm constantly growing and I'm constantly evolving, then guess what? These are areas that I'm going to have to constantly go back to so that I can properly manage and maintain. So if we agree that every day is healing, then that means that your excuse of I'll start when I heal now keeps you where? Stuck. Right? It keeps you stuck. Thank you so much. I'm glad that this is making sense to you. Right? We're talking about 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset. Number 1, we talked about adjusting your standard, not lowering your standard, but adjusting it, because you're the one that created it. You created your standard, right? And don't get me wrong, society shaped it, social media shaped it, but it is up to you to adjust it. Yes, for my generation in particular, we were taught to go to college, get a husband, have children, this systematic way of living. And so now when we look and we see people on social media and they're at this standard that we've created, now we think that I have to do all of these things first before I can complete the assignment that God has called me to. And he's saying, no, no, no. He's saying, complete my assignment so that you can reach everything that you've ever desired. The Bible says to delight yourself in him and he'll give you the desires of your heart. But because we have this standard that we're not willing to adjust, we're pushing ourselves further and further back on the timeline. Now, whose time? God's time. But that's the thing. We never know when our time is up. And the last thing you want to do, listen, y'all, man, the last thing you want to do is leave this earth and not fulfill what God placed you here to do. I want when I'm 102, because me and God already had a conversation, unless he comes back first. I plan to be here until I'm 102. And when that time does come, I plan to have my funeral. And when they do my eulogy, I want everybody, when they come up and say, limited to 2 minutes, don't limit my remarks to 2 minutes. I want you to say everything you need to say, because I want the people to know that I served my purpose in your life. Right? And the last thing you want to do is leave this earth and not fulfill the assignment that God has called you to. I don't want that to be me. And again, if you don't know what your assignment is, I have a special class for you. Reach out to me, inbox me, find me. I'm doing a purpose party at the end of December or the beginning of December. For those of you who you saying, Latoya, you keep talking about purpose. I don't know what my assignment is here on earth. Come so that we can work together. Now, for my coaches and my service-based, because I did open this opportunity to my service-based business owners, but specifically for my coaches, you're ready to go into your next. I have a 2.5-hour intensive scheduled for 5 coaches. Now, some of these seats are already taken. So you want to make sure that you secure your seat so that we can sit down and we can go over your messaging, your marketing, and your money. Let's go into the new year, into your next. Why keep saying I'll do it when you have an opportunity to do it now? Which takes me to point number 5. Do it now. How do I overcome the mindset of I'm gonna do this when? Now, here's the thing. Let me break this down for you a little bit because I'm trying to combat any rebuttals, right? If you're buying a house, you're saying, Latoya, but if I want to buy a house, I have to do it when I get my credit together. There's a difference. Buying a house requires a process, right? Because I know it requires a process. So you're saying, I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to buy a house. That's the goal. Now, in order to reach that goal, you have to get your credit together. I encourage you to have at least 30, 40,000 in the reserve. Like, you got to save your money. There's just certain things that you have to do. Well, guess what? Taking money from Starbucks and putting it into my buying a house fund is starting now. You didn't say I'll go buy a house when I save up 40,000. No, I'm going to start today. So what do I need to do to save 40,000 to buy this house? What do I need? What do I need to do today to fix my credit? Right? Because the goal is progressional. Now, what do you need to do to start grow monetize your coaching business? You need to figure out, okay, what do I need to do today so that next year this time I'm generating X amount of dollars in my business. I've served X amount of people in my coaching business. What do you need to do today? In this moment. Not I'll do it when this happens. No, what do you need to do now? I ask myself this every day because every day I'm working on Chase Gray. This is my job. This is my 9 to 5. This is how I pay or contribute to my household expenses. This is how I contribute to my children. This is how I'm building our savings. Like, this is what I do. So every day my mindset is, what do I need to do today? Yes, I'm going to hire a particular coach that I'm going to work with when I do what I need to do or reach my financial goal to work with that coach. But what am I going to do today so that I can work with that coach? What coach can I work with on a lower level to get me there? Right? What do I need to do? What do I need to do today so that I'm not procrastinating and living in fear? We talked about the root to this mindset of I'll do it when is rooted in procrastination and in fear. Procrastination is fear. So for all of you who say, I just got this terrible, I just procrastinate so bad. What are you afraid of? Because it's rooted in fear. The reason why you procrastinate on doing what you're supposed to do is because you're afraid of the results of whatever it is that you need to do. Either you're afraid of the results or you're afraid of the responsibility. And I know, listen, being responsible for a whole business is not easy. But when you keep procrastinating, it's because you're afraid of the results or you're afraid of the responsibility. You're afraid that you think you might fail. I'm trying to push hearts. That's okay. That's okay. Mine was doing that as well. I don't know why Facebook is doing that. But when you procrastinate, it's because you're afraid of the results or you're afraid of the responsibility. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy because there is work, right? Not only is there work, but there's a certain level of accountability. My question is, when are you going to take accountability for your mediocrity? You keep saying, I'm going to do this when, and you're staying in a space of mediocrity. And listen, let me tell you, this is not I am fussing because that's just how I teach, but I'm fussing at me too, because there are things that I'm supposed to have done, but I procrastinate because I'm afraid of the responsibility. Listen, the responsibility is real. So I share with you guys 5 ways to overcome the I'll do it when mindset, so that you can go after everything you desire. It is time for you to stop allowing life and the situation of life and the challenges of life to stop you from living life more abundantly. God said, I sent my only begotten son so that you may live. God has given you an assignment so that you can help someone else live. I love this. It's the responsibility for me. Realizing I'm accountable for other people is scary because I don't want to fail them. Let's talk about this really quick because I got to go. I want you to release yourself from this way of thinking because I get it, right? I get it. As a coach, I feel responsible for the outcome of every person that I coach, right? So when you don't do what we worked on, or the results don't show up the way that we expected or the way that I saw it, I feel like I'm taking responsibility for your failures. And the Holy Spirit checked me. And I wish I knew the name of this person. The Holy Spirit checked me. He said, "You've done your job. Now let me do mine." One man plant, one man water, and God gives the increase. Hey, La Erica. Okay. And God gives the increase, right? Think about it. All he told you to do is take the seed, go plant it in the earth, and water it. That's it. You cannot make that seed grow. That's not your job. And this was a struggle for me because y'all know how much, listen, especially La Erica. La Erica knows she's been rocking with Chase Gray since the conception of Chase Gray. I love helping people. I want to see you chase great. And it had gotten so bad that I was getting frustrated at people who wouldn't become. I'm like, come on, I see this thing. I see this for you. I see this for you. And they didn't see it for themselves. And so I would get frustrated. And I'm like, Lord, why do I keep getting frustrated? He said, because you're trying to do all the work. What you leaving me to do? You trying to plant, water, and increase. He said, I didn't ask you to do it all. And so while it's the responsibility is more so you being responsible for yourself, not for their outcome, right? When we talk about fear and procrastination, we're talking about the fear of the results, which means that the results can be bigger or it could cause failure, right? Or the responsibility of what it's going to take for you to do the job, not the responsibility of the outcome, because that's not your responsibility. And let me tell you, that's not easy. That's not easy. We want to build the car. We want to go get the supplies for the car, build the car, and drive the car. That's not your job. That's not your job. And so the moment you release yourself from the result of that person is when you're free. God said, do your part. So your part is showing up, giving the solutions, walking them through the strategy, but it's up to them to apply it. And the moment that you release yourself from that type of pressure is the moment you can show up in any area. I know that I have so many seeds. Every word that come out of my mouth is a seed. God has given me so many seeds to plant. He's given me so many resources to water. But he said, leave it up to me to give the increase. and I throw my hands up. Even when I plant, even when I sow the seeds and the people don't water the seed, that's not my job. I did my part, right? I finally see me the way you have all this time. This is really helping me in this season. Yes, because I can see it. I can see, like I'm telling y'all, when I work with clients, being a vision coach is more than me just helping you with your business, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. That's what I love to do. I love helping you bring the vision to life. But being a vision coach is deeper than that. It's bigger than that. I share, with my community all the time. I don't openly publicize this as often as I probably should, but I do have a prophetic gift and I know it. I know I hear from God. I know God tells me to tell y'all stuff. And when we work in our sessions together, you get all of it. And sometimes God show me stuff to tell you that you can't see for yourself yet. Right? But that doesn't mean that I don't share it because that's my job. Now, again, this is why we can't control the results because I can take the seed that God has given me, and I sow it. And I've sown it into the heart of La Erica. I've sown it into the heart of, I don't know who else is on this live, but I've sown those seeds, right? And so now it's up to you to do the work so that you can get the increase that God has for you. And I love that La Erica said this because sometimes it doesn't happen immediately. Sometimes it doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it doesn't happen. I tell y'all all the time, one of my favorite memes is I became an overnight success in 10 years. It took me a long time to make multiple six figures in my business. That did not happen overnight. And the way that the influencers and the gurus, the way that they make it seem and look like, oh, that's because you're working with the wrong coach. And oh, that's because you're doing it wrong. Or, and Akila just said it, or the seed has to be nurtured. The seed has to be watered. Now, here's the thing. Now, if you want counterfeit, I don't want counterfeit fruit. I don't eat tilapia because it's counterfeit. I don't want nothing that you made in a petri dish and made it happen. I want all my stuff naturally given to me by God, right? And so that's going to take a little bit more time. I shared with you guys before, it take an apple tree 8 to 10 years to reach its greatest potential. 8 to 10 years. And some of you this is another reason why you have this I'll do it when mindset, because you're expecting an overnight return. And that is not how investing works. You show me a seed that you plant today and it produced a tree tomorrow. I want to see it. Show me. Listen, no seedless fruits. Would you like a seedless watermelon? No. I want a watermelon with seeds in it because that means y'all went and produced that in some factory somewhere. I don't want that. Right? I want what's pure. And that takes time. That takes time, y'all. So for those of you, don't get me wrong. I tell y'all, I got a bomb coach. And when she told you she can help you make 30,000 in 30 days, she was for real. Because she most definitely can. But here's where people miss the mark. There's a certain level of work that already has to be done for that overnight increase, for that overnight return. You can't just start today. Why? The Bible talks about patience and how our character is being built in our process. If he turned every seed that you planted into a tree, do you know how overcrowded and how many useless, unneeded, and unnecessary trees you will have in your garden? Think about it. Think about it. If God said yes to everything you asked for and you didn't have to work for it, how many mistakes will you have just laying around like Latoya? Why? Why? Let me tell y'all, this is so transparent. So my husband and I, we bought a house. We bought a pretty nice house. And I'm like, Lord, I want this. I want this. I want this. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Checklist, checklist, checklist. We get the house. I love my house, right? Well, I didn't really know the responsibilities that came behind being a first time homeowner. Listen, so if God had given me the house that I really wanted, I would have been like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. The girl is not ready. All this grass we got to cut, your girl is not ready. Putting up lights for Christmas, your girl is not ready. So just imagine if there was the house that I really wanted. He said, no, take this one first. And I'm grateful. Thank you, Lord. Right? Because I didn't know what that bigger one was going to require because I haven't gone through the process. So while you're saying, Lord, I want to make multiple six figures this year in my coaching business, but yet you haven't even done the work to heal self, to work through self, make it make sense. Make it make sense. So listen, I'll start ranting, and we're not gonna rant. But I just wanted to come on today for the Maximize Your Monday Masterclass and share with you 5 ways to overcome the "I'll do it when" mindset. If this is a mindset that you're struggling with, I've shared 5 ways for you to overcome it. We've talked about shifting or adjusting your standard. We've talking about comparing, putting on your blinders. Stop looking to the right and to the left. Stop searching it. Listen. If Instagram triggers you, stop going on it for a minute, because you may think it's inspiring you when it's really keeping you more stuck. It's really keeping you more stuck because you're comparing. And it's understand that it's a natural human response. This is the type of work that we have to do internally so that it no longer. Instagram used to trigger me. It used to trigger me. It doesn't anymore because I did the work. But it didn't happen overnight either. Right? Stop comparing. Shorten these timelines. Shorten the timeline. You're saying, I want to make my first $1,000 in my business. Don't wait 6 months. What do I need to do so I can do it in the next 30 days? Take control of your time. You control your time. I don't care if you work a 9 to 5. I don't care if you work a 9 to 9. I don't care if you got 13 kids. I don't care if it doesn't matter. It's really nothing you could tell me to. I'm not going to say there's nothing, but at this point, I don't see anything that you could tell me that would make me change how I think about your time. Even if you're imprisoned, you still have control over your time. It may be structured, but you have control of what you do during your time. Stop giving yourself excuses. Every time you say, I'll do it when, you're giving yourself an excuse and you're trying to justify your procrastination and your fear. Understand that that mindset is rooted in procrastination and is rooted in fear. You have to pull these things from the root if you're expecting to enter into your next. Right? And then number 5. What did I say? Number 5 was, we talked about lowering the standard. We talked about comparison. We talked about shortening your timelines, taking control of your time. And then we said number 5 was to just do it. To just do it. Stop saying, I'll do this when. No, sit down. What do I need to do today so that I can make this happen? What do I need to do? You want to earn multiple 6 figures in your business? What do you need to do today to make that happen? You want to travel the world and be a international speaker? What do you need to do today to make that happen? Don't say, I'm going to do this when. What if when never comes? Life happens. Something is going to challenge you every single day. And if we keep letting the challenges stop us or cause us to pause and say, I'll do it when, we'll never do it. You'll never do it because something is always going to come up. Something's always going to seem more important. Something's always going to seem like it's in your way. You're going to have to learn how to push those things aside and say, I need to focus on what God has called me to do. Because in your excuses is why you're still stuck and you feel like you're mediocre and you feel like you're unhappy. You want happiness, you want fulfillment. Get rid of the excuses. Get rid of the when this happens, then I'll do this. I'll do this when. Get rid of that mindset and live the life of happiness that you desire. You have control over it. You have everything that you need to become everything that God has called you to become. The question is, are you willing to live in a season of discomfort? Are you? Listen, obstacles are going to come, but especially when you give God your yes, you like, what the world just happened? You feel like the whole world done flipped upside down, right? But the question is, what are you willing to sacrifice to gain everything you've ever desired? Because sacrifice is required. Whether or not you're sacrificing flesh, whatever your fleshly desires are, maybe you may sacrifice a little time. Maybe you may sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice to gain everything you've ever desired? Listen, I have two opportunities for you. I love it. I love it. Shift. That's right. Shift your standard. Stop comparing. Shorten your time and just do it. Take control. No, shorten your timeline. Take control of your time and then just do it. Thank you so much for those notes. I appreciate you for that. Listen, I have two opportunities for you. I am hosting a purpose party. For those of you who don't know, the niche coaching certification program was birthed out of It's a Purpose Party. So, especially LaErica was one of Chase Great's very first purpose pushers. So, we're going to be bringing back It's a Purpose Party. Coming January 2023, we're going to be launching the Purpose Pusher course. And this is for my purpose coaches, where you can take this course, you'll have a business in a box, and you'll be able to go out and start your own business where you're helping people get clarity in their purpose. In the meantime, in between time, we're going to host a virtual purpose party in December. If you are struggling with knowing your life's call, get in contact with me so that I can get you this information. This is my own, because I am not a purpose coach, I am a vision coach. But I am going to host one so that I can then launch the program to other purpose coaches so that they can host them as well. So I encourage you to reach out to me if you want to join me for this intensive so that you can get clarity on your purpose. That is going to be in December. If you are a coach and you are ready to work on your messaging, your marketing, and your money, you need to increase your price points. You need to just talk about your price points. You're like, Latoya, it's not that I need to increase them. I need to talk about them because I don't know what my price is supposed to look like. Then you want to join me. I'm offering a 2.5 hour intensive. I only offer coach the coach at the end of the year, right? I don't do coach the coach throughout the year because I focus a lot on the students of Chase Great University. But at the end of the year, I like to host coach the coach strategy sessions so that I can work with you intensely on your specific area in business. So there's a link in the caption for you to go ahead, secure your spot. I'm only taking 5 coaches and the seats are going. So you want to go ahead and take your seat so that you can join me for a exclusive intense strategy session. Yes, Miss LaErica, full circle, it is coming back. It is coming back. So if you have any questions for me, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can, of course, send us a message via messenger. Someone from my team will answer you. I'll answer you. But I encourage you to click the link in the caption to join us for our intense strategy session where we're going to focus on your messaging, your marketing, and your money. And again, if you are seeking support and getting clarity in your purpose, then reach out to me. I'm hosting a purpose party later in December, but that is something that is near and dear to me because I know that my assignment is to help you see clear. And so if you're struggling with knowing who you are and what your assignment is, then I want to help you do that. So have a fantastic Monday. I have a checklist of things to do. So I'm going to go finish doing what I need to do. You have an amazing Monday, and I'll see you guys inside of the community. Be blessed.